The year is 2025 and Donald Trump is back in the Oval Office. His second term has ushered in a wave of economic policies that have sent ripples through the lives of everyday Americans. From sweeping tax cuts to aggressive trade tariffs, these policies aim to reshape the American economic landscape. But at what cost? This essay will delve into the implications of Trump's economic policies, particularly focusing on how they are impacting the wallets of the poor and working middle class. Trump's economic agenda is a complex web of interconnected policies. His signature tax cuts, a cornerstone of his first term, have been extended and expanded, promising to put more money in the pockets of Americans. However, critics argue that these cuts disproportionately favor corporations and the wealthy, leaving the middle class with crumbs. Meanwhile, Trump's trade wars, particularly with China, have led to higher prices on a range of consumer goods, from washing machines to car parts. The administration argues that these policies are necessary to protect American jobs and industries from unfair foreign competition. They point to the booming stock market and low unemployment rates as evidence of their success. However, beneath the surface of these seemingly positive indicators lies a growing concern: the rising cost of living. The poor and working middle class, already struggling to make ends meet, are bearing the brunt of these economic shifts. As prices for basic necessities continue to rise, wages have remained largely stagnant, leaving many families struggling to keep up. This essay will examine the impact of Trump's economic policies on the cost of living, exploring how tariffs, tax cuts, immigration restrictions, and deregulation are affecting the lives of ordinary Americans. Section 2. The Tariff Tussle, Higher Prices on Everyday Products. One of the most direct ways Trump's policies have hit the wallets of ordinary Americans is through tariffs. Tariffs are essentially taxes on imported goods, making them more expensive for consumers. Trump has imposed tariffs on a wide range of products, from steel and aluminum to solar panels and washing machines. While the administration argues that these tariffs are necessary to protect American jobs and industries, the reality is that they have led to higher prices for consumers. For example, the tariffs on washing machines, imposed in 2018, have resulted in an increase of nearly 20% in the price of these appliances. This may seem like a small increase, but for families living paycheck to paycheck, every dollar counts. The tariffs on steel and aluminum have also had a ripple effect throughout the economy, increasing the cost of everything from cars to beer. The tariffs have also hurt American businesses that rely on imported goods. For instance, the tariffs on steel and aluminum have made it more expensive for American manufacturers to produce their products, making them less competitive in the global market. This has led to job losses in some industries, contrary to the administration's claims. The impact of these tariffs is being felt most acutely by the poor and working middle class, who spend a larger proportion of their income on consumer goods. As prices for basic necessities like food, clothing, and appliances continue to rise, these families are being forced to make difficult choices, such as cutting back on groceries or foregoing essential health care. Section 3. Tax Cuts and Deficits. A Recipe for Disaster? Another key component of Trump's economic agenda is tax cuts. The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017, the administration's signature legislative achievement, slashed taxes for corporations and individuals, promising to boost economic growth and create jobs. However, critics argue that these cuts have primarily benefited the wealthy and corporations, while doing little to help the middle class or address income inequality. While proponents of the tax cuts point to increased economic growth and low unemployment rates as evidence of their success, these claims need to be examined more closely. The economic growth experienced in recent years has been largely fueled by increased government spending and tax cuts, leading to a ballooning federal deficit. This deficit is projected to exceed $1 trillion in 2025, raising concerns about the long-term sustainability of the current economic trajectory. Moreover, the tax cuts have done little to address the issue of wage stagnation, which has plagued the American economy for decades. Despite the low unemployment rate, wages have remained relatively flat, particularly for low and middle-income workers. This means that even though more Americans may have jobs, their paychecks are not keeping pace with the rising cost of living. Section 4. Conclusion. Navigating the uncertain economic landscape. As we navigate the uncertain economic landscape of Trump's second term, It is clear that his policies are having a profound impact on the lives of ordinary Americans. While the administration touts the benefits of its economic agenda, the reality is that the poor and working middle class are bearing the brunt of the costs. From higher prices on everyday goods to a shrinking social safety net, the consequences of these policies are being felt in households across the country. The long-term implications of these policies remain to be seen, but one thing is clear: the current economic trajectory is unsustainable. The ballooning federal deficit, fueled by tax cuts and increased spending, threatens to crowd out essential government programs and services. The trade wars, while intended to protect American jobs, are hurting businesses and consumers alike. And the erosion of the social safety net is leaving the most vulnerable Americans even more vulnerable. It is imperative that we find a way to create a more just and equitable economy, one that works for everyone, not just those at the top. This will require a fundamental shift in our economic priorities, away from trickle-down economics and towards policies that invest in working families, strengthen the middle class, and create opportunities for all Americans to succeed.